Welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And we still?
Still, yeah, haven't changed.
Well, I haven't heard him too much this week, so yes, he can still be called Ken Dekker. And we have, of course, other realtor partners and other team members, so we're just part of the Dekker Team. And we often are the ones that get to be on air to talk about great things related to home ownership, related to real estate, buying, selling, investing. So really anything to do with home and house.
Yeah.
Not just the acquisition or disposition of it.
Yeah. And what is today's show called, Yetta?
I don't want to say it.
Why? Because I thought it up?
No, because it's hard to say.
Oh, we just have to really enunciate.
Your goal. You go.
Okay. Shift happens.
All right. So shift in the real estate market does happen, and it's guaranteed to happen because it's just the nature of real estate.
Yeah, and I think it's about 6 months I've been saying the market's starting to change. Do you remember that on past shows, Yetta?
Yes, Yetta remembers on past shows. The bigger question is, do you remember from past shows? Because Ken likes to hear these words. You're right, Ken.
That's right. My biggest goal in life is to hear those couple words.
You're right, Ken. So, you're right, Ken. The market has shifted.
Not totally.
Well, it has made a shift.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So,
some people, when they hear the word shift, they think, okay, it went from a buyer's market to a seller's market. And we're not there yet. In micro pockets, we are.
Right. We are. Mm-hmm. So it's in a transition, which is fantastic.
Yes.
And so this is the first time you're actually probably be hearing there is an undertone of enthusiasm and excitement in our voices because we've been navigating for about 6 years a balanced and mostly a buyer's market. Mm-hmm. In certain micro pockets and on certain properties, that's not been true. And yet, as a whole of the real estate market in and around Ottawa, that has been true. And it's kind of boring dealing with the same market for too long.
Yes, and we always had this, the last several years, it's been the tale of two stories, right? It's what are the freehold properties doing and what are the condos doing, and it was totally different.
Yes.
And now we're kind of starting to line up a little bit, which is exciting.
Very exciting.
And we're going to save that for a little later. Yetta, you started in real estate in 1989. How many years ago was that?
A while.
A while?
Just a while.
How are your math skills?
Just a while.
You're hardly over 28. I don't know how you could have been in real estate for 28 years.
Well, I was in my 20s when I started.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go.
So you've seen some shifts.
I have
in
seen
28 years.
Yeah. I thought we weren't going to say.
Oh, I like saying it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, and I've actually just started saying almost 30 years because that's easier. So, yeah, I'm okay with it.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
Awesome.
I'll be fine. Age is a good thing because without it, it means I'm not here hanging out with you. So I'm thinking every year is a gift because I'm here.
It is a gift.
It is a gift. And so the market has shifted a lot because I know when I first started in the industry, 89 up until about 92, 93, 94 even, the market was actually pretty good when I first started. And then it really started to slow quickly, meaning prices were sort of stalling out.
Yeah, that's when I joined.
Right.
I caused that.
I know, because of only 3 years we've had actually downward pricing was 94, 95, 96.
And I got my license January of 94. So I was selling houses and saying, do you want to buy one? They're going to be worth less next year than you paid for it. And smile, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't do it even though if you've been listening to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team for any length of time, Ken loves to take the credit for a downward market. I don't even know why you would want to take the credit for that.
It was my inexperience. After 3 years of that, I knew what to do.
And then the prices started going up.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, now he's totally made me lose my train of thought. Even our cameraman can't look straight. And Dan is amazing. He's been with us through all of our 200.
Yeah, let's have a shout out to Dan.
Yeah.
Dan from CHRA. And, a lot of times he does the show in the afternoon where you get to pick your own songs you want to hear. That's awesome. I think they call it jukebox or something. That's
so you can
awesome.
tune in and he'll help you too. So when we know he's laughing at us because we can see him out of the corner of our eye, it means this is either a really bad dad joke or this is really good content. We're never really quite sure. So we attempt not to look over there. Anyway, so the 89 to 94 was started to increase, and then it started to leveling out by about 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. Really, every year we went to see somebody, we would have to tell them their house was worth less than when they bought it if they bought it in that time frame.
I remember buying an anniversary cake for one of our sellers because it had been a year we'd had their house up for sale, and we had one candle on it, and fortunately we never got to a 2-candle cake.
Yeah. It was bad. It was a tough market. It was a unique property. It was on acreage. It was close to Manotick, so it wasn't a low-end property, and they were tougher to sell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've had that kind of market, and then we moved through
the 2000s.
And yeah, the 2000s were amazing because that's when we started the strategy of, which sometimes worked and sometimes didn't work, bringing in an offer that said, we'll pay you $2,000 more than your other highest offer.
Which we don't do anymore.
No, we don't. Didn't work so good. It offended people. So you really just had to go in blind and really decide what the house is worth to you and put your offer in there.
And that was an extreme seller's market in where, you would see a sale price of a house and you didn't know what to put the next house. If it was a townhouse that sold at $250, the next one that would come up on the same street would be priced at $260, $270, and they get their price.
Yeah, that was a single, though.
Well, yeah, a single house at that price in those days, yes. Excuse me. But prices were growing that kind of rate. We saw, 15, 16% increase in prices, and that's not sustainable.
No.
But so my forecast the last little while is that the market has shifted and we're going to change because if you look at the 10-year average, it's around 4.4%. And if you look at like a 25-year average, you're more around 5.5% average increase in average sale price in the Ottawa market. Now, for the last several years, probably close to 5 years, we've been hovering around that 1-2%, right? So we're underneath the curve. We're now underneath the curve of the 4-5%. And so my estimation with the way the spring has taken off is that we'll see between 7 and 10% increase in prices this year.
Ooh, he just said that out loud. I would not have risked that. So now you're either going to
Remember, I like to be right.
I know. So now we're going to have to see if he can make the market again. And we all know he doesn't make the market. He simply interprets the market.
That's true.
And yet he likes to think he makes the market. And so from an inventory perspective, I think it's helpful to understand when we say buyer's market, seller's market, balanced market, depressed market, to understand a little bit of what does that actually mean?
Okay, so yes.
Can I share that?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So if there is 0 to 3 months of inventory at a given time, that, if you have 100 homes on the market, which I know we have a lot more than that, but let's just say 100 homes on the market, and 100 homes are going to sell this month, that would be 1 month's inventory. Mm-hmm. If I have 100 homes on the market and it's going to take 3 months for those homes to sell, I have 3-month inventory. If 100 homes on the market, it's going to take 6 months for those homes to sell, then if I'm selling, about 15 a month, then 6 months worth of inventory. And on goes the math. If I have 100 homes on the market and 10 sell a month, that's 10 months worth of inventory.
Right.
Pretty good. I can do simple math.
Yes.
And it's easier to follow along with me using simple numbers. So 0 to 3 months is very much a seller's market. 4 to 6 months is a balanced market. It's probably some multiple offers, some pressure, not a lot. Some will go quick, some will take a little longer. It's just a very nice, comfortable, kind of fun market for everybody, but nobody's really feeling like they're winning and nobody's really feeling like they're losing. It's really just a win-win market, right? Everybody feels good about what's happening. And then if you move into 7 to 9 months worth of inventory, you're very much dealing with a buyer's market where there's downward pressure on pricing, there's increase on days on market. And then when you move to 10 to 12 months or 10 plus really months of inventory, you're in a depressed market.
Which some areas of Ottawa have been in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And certain price ranges. So it's not just about area, it's also about price range.
Right.
Right? Because if we use an example of Greeley for argument's sake, just because it has a few different price ranges in it. So it has the high-end market in excess of $1 million. It's got that, $750,000 to $1 million market. It's got the $5 to $750,000, and it has a even $250,000 to $5 market. It kind of has a lot of markets within that small area. And whereas the lower end in Greeley would not ever really have sat in a very strong depressed market. It was mostly...
Because there's limited amount of supply and a lot of demand for that price range. A lot of the first-time buyers are in that price range.
Right. Whereas when you moved into the $1 million plus, at times there was 18 months worth of inventory.
Yeah. 24.
Based on how many, I know, but we don't want to say that out loud. So in certain markets, in certain price ranges, it's even different. So it's not just hey, what's happening in Greeley? Or what's happening in Riverside South, or what's happening in downtown Ottawa, or what's happening in Rockcliffe, or what's happening in Canada, or what's happening in Stittsville. It's what's happening in a specific price point in any specific area.
So let's tell a story. Yes. So let's tell a story.
All right.
Recently, we had a property for sale. It was for sale before Christmas.
Yes.
And I think it went on at $410, then it went down to $400 or $399, and we were getting offers, but the offers were in like the $380 range and that sort of thing. And so our seller decided to take it off the market and rent it for a few months.
Because it had been an investment property, so it was just easy to treat it as an investment property again.
And then put it back on recently. And we said, well, you could probably, based on what the market's doing, you probably put it on now at like $420. But I recommended put it on at $400 again and accept no offers for 5 days. And so what happened, how many showings did
45.
we get in less than a week?
Yeah,
45 showings. And we did an open house and there was like 20 couples through or something like that. And then what happened was, we got 9 offers on that property. 9 offers. Many of them were significantly above asking price. And really, it's still conditional, so I can't talk about it that well. But know that really they got probably 10% more than they would have gotten 4 months ago. Now, that's not saying that every property's gone up 10%. But so here is why I'm going to talk about, I believe we're going to see 7 to 10% increase this year over last year's average sale price. First of all, inventory, sales are up. Let's go sales first. So demand is up. Sales for February were up 10%.
Over February last year.
Yeah.
So when we say they're up, we're not saying 10% more than January, because we know cyclically that we compare month over month, not month by previous month.
Yeah, and this is freehold.
Yep.
And the sale price for the month of February, and now again, you're taking a small sampling of data, so the increase in average sale price isn't as accurate as if you're taking like the whole year's data. But for the 1 month, our average sale price in February last year was $384, this year $417. That's an 8.5% increase year over year.
Right.
For that particular month. But we're going to have to see as the months progress how that handles, right?
Right, and you have to be a little careful when we're doing these stats, because we're only dealing with 760 sales. And so if
that's a small sampling.
That's small, right? And so if you're looking at that a few higher end homes have sold, yes, the average of the ones that sold has increased by that much, but that doesn't mean your home has gone up that much.
Yeah. And,
right?
and that's where we do
careful.
the individual research per house.
Right.
Now, the other thing is the inventory is down 15% compared to February of last year.
Which is such a happy thing, because for the last half a dozen years, we've really been saying we have more inventory now than we had last year same time.
And we did that for 7 years. Now,
Yeah.
For close to a year, it's been dropping slightly.
Right.
And now we're getting a significant drop because February of last year, 2016, was already a little bit lower than 2017.
Yeah. So for almost a year
So now
now.
we're 15% below that one. So we're sliding into a balanced market. So that's about 5 months of inventory.
Which is a happy, happy thing.
It's a nice place to be.
Yeah, because we've been living so long in predominantly, and we have to keep being careful because of the micro market conversation, predominantly a buyer's market.
Yes. And
not even a balance.
Another indicator of that is we put up a property one day. It was $1.2 million property in the Glebe.
Yep.
And the first day we got 3 requests for showings on the next day. Now we're not accepting offers for a little while, so time will tell what happens on that property. But it's interesting, $1.2 million property, and we've got 3 showings in the first 24 hours. That's pretty amazing. So that's a little indicator of what's happening out there. Now let's talk condos for a little while.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yep.
You're all right with that?
I'm okay with condos.
Perfect.
Because condos have actually been starting. I mean, there was a season where there was such a glut of inventory that although we've sold a lot of condos, it's not as though we haven't been able to sell them. It's more that the prices weren't where we'd like them to have been because it was just too much on the market, and they took longer to sell than we would like them to have taken because it was such extreme inventory. So you had to price it very aggressively to be the one of a whole bunch that we're going to sell.
Now with condos, because it's a smaller segment of the market, the percentage change when the market shifts is exaggerated.
It is.
Both, when sales are falling, it's exaggerated as a percentage, and same thing when sales start to increase, that percentage is exaggerated. So the sales for February went from 195 to 230. So that's what, 35 more sales. It's not huge. And yet that's an 18% increase in sales.
Right, which makes us so happy.
Yeah, and makes condo owners happy too.
That's what I mean. I'm there with you, right?
Yeah.
We really do perceive your investment kind of like it's ours. We treat your home like it's our home, your money like it's our money, because then we're going to give you better counsel. We're going to give you the counsel that we would give ourselves most of the time. The only exception to that is we have been known to buy homes without conditions, and we have been known to buy homes without finance conditions and all that stuff.
Yeah, we don't generally let our buyers do that.
We wouldn't encourage any of our clients, we wouldn't encourage you to do that. We would just maybe do that ourselves.
Yeah. So average sale price in January was significantly higher than the January before. Yeah. But since we're talking February increased a little bit too, February over February. Yep. So 248 up to 258. So that's a 4% increase in value. Now again, that's just for the 1 month, so it's a small sampling. It's only 230 properties.
Right.
So you throw in $1 million property and suddenly that's really out of whack, right? So bear that in mind. And then inventory.
This is good.
Yeah, this is exciting, right? 1680 last year at the end of February. 1410 this year at the end of February. That's a 16% drop in inventory. So again, drop in inventory, increase in demand. What are you going to get?
Increase in price.
Yeah.
It works. And so right now we're sitting about 6 months of inventory in the resale condo market.
Yeah.
You've got an abundance of new inventory as well.
Yes.
Of new condominium, which doesn't sit on the MLS generally speaking. It's with individual marketing houses or sale divisions and builders. And so there is a lot more than what we're sharing, and yet the resale is what we're dealing with day to day and what is impacting you. So there's only about 6 months inventory. So if you call back to the conversation we had a few minutes ago, that 4 to 6 months of worth of inventory is a balanced market.
Yeah.
And the word condo and balanced market has not been something I've been able to say for about 7 years.
Yeah, and again, we only took, that's true, and we only took a 1 month sampling for that.
Okay,
so
it's still happy.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's way happier than it was February of last year.
Right.
because there was more houses and less sales, so your number of months of inventory was more.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving in the right direction, I think, is what we want you to hear and what we want you to get. And if you want to get an accurate snapshot, an accurate analysis of your neighborhood, all you need to do is send us an email. We'll send you out an electronic overview of what's going on in your neighborhood with pictures, with sold prices, with all that great stuff, so you can see for yourself the rebounding that is taking place. Even if you're not thinking of making a move for another 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, it's okay. It's good data to have, isn't it?
Yes, it's great data. And let me explain, if you're thinking of buying a house, how this can affect you.
Okay, that's important.
Because this is important to you as a buyer. So let's say you were planning on buying a $300,000 house, for instance, okay? And you're saving up money, and you've got, say, 10% down, you got $30,000 saved up. And you say to me, I want to save until I got 20% down because I don't want to pay that nasty CMHC insurance fee, right?
Right, which doesn't help me anyway. It just helps the financial institution.
Yeah. So let's say we got to save another $30,000. How long would that take?
Well, I don't know. It depends. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years.
2 years, yeah. Okay. So
maybe 3.
Now we're in a market that I'm projecting 7 to 10% increase. So let's say 7.
Okay.
Because we just saw 8.5 in February. Let's say 7. All right. So 7% on 300,000 is how much?
21,000.
21,000. So a year later, we still don't have our 20% yet, but the house now is 321. And let's say in 2 years, we have our money saved up. So now we have $60,000 to pay down.
So now it's about 343, because you've got to do the increase on the 21, right?
Yeah. Yep. And so now what's 20% of 343?
More.
Thanks, Yetta. I think it's about 68,000. So now they've got saved 60,000, but they still need another $8,000 to put their 20% down to save the CMHC fee.
Right.
And if you do the math on how much the mortgage has been paid down, if they just paid the CMHC fee, they'll come out behind about $60,000. And I can do the math, we don't want to do that on the radio. Everyone fall asleep while they're driving their car and fall over. Yeah. We don't want anybody in the ditch.
Go in the ditch, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
not a good idea. We don't want that to happen to you.
So I won't get into the real nitty-gritty. Just know that waiting right now to buy a home will cost you money.
Yeah.
And tens of thousands of dollars of money. So if you've been sitting on the fence and you're going, oh, well, I don't want to buy. I mean, interest rates, I saw interest rates discounted at 2.44% for 5-year money. That's like almost free money.
Almost.
So waiting right now is not a good thing if you're a buyer.
Right.
Get in the market. Give us a call. We've got a fantastic team here that's waiting to serve you. And I just would hate to see you lose money.
Well, yeah, because that's what will happen. When Ken's using those numbers, recognize there's still closing costs, so you'd still have to be saving for those as well. Yeah. So just there's a little more, he's doing a very simplistic overview, just so you have an understanding of that by waiting, it's actually taking money out of your,
And what I'd love to do is if you're in that situation where you've just been pondering about buying, do we have enough down payment? Should we do it now? Should we do it later? Meet with us. It's free. There's no pressure. It's a consultation. We're going to just walk you through your numbers, walk you through what you can buy in that price range, and then go, okay, what would you like to do?
Right. And another nice opportunity that you can do if you're just in the information gathering stage is there is in a couple of days a real estate investment seminar. It's the Financial Wealth Formula session, and it will give you some insights and some numbers as well as to just the general understanding of why now, why not now, and all that kind of stuff. So if you want a more in-depth and yet group analysis so that you're totally free to just take in the information, decide what you want to do with it, then that's an opportunity you can reach out to us about as well. Mm-hmm. Lots of great ways to get the information. And even watching some of the old Inside Track episodes, you'll see they're by topic. The descriptions aren't as great as they need to be, so we're going to get better at the descriptions. And yet if you look at the titles, you can find the ones that really will fit with what you're thinking about and what you want to get more information on, including timing and stuff.
Yeah. So now the other place that this market really benefits you is if you're thinking of moving up.
Yes, as a seller.
As a seller, you're thinking of selling your townhouse or your smaller house, and you want to buy a bigger house, because we've come through a period where prices have been stable or down a little bit, and your house, if everything's increasing at the same percentage right now, the bigger house will be worth more. Because some people will say, well, I want to wait till my house goes up, another 20,000 or something before I buy. Recognize that the more expensive house has gone up 30,000. So you're not going to win that game. You're not going to win that game by waiting. Now, if you're thinking of downsizing, you may win that game by waiting.
Yep, you may.
But we've got to look at your micro market and really determine that for you. And so some people will say, you know what, hang on if you can. Right. If the house is still working for you, it's not putting you in the poorhouse because it's too expensive to maintain and to pay the mortgage and everything, we may say, hang on.
Right.
But we won't know until we sit down and do that consultation with you.
Right. And another interesting factor around timing is it's really about your life. What works for you? I mean, we can attempt to time the market, and yet timing the market is only of value if it doesn't mess things up for you personally. So it's, right?
Yeah,
because it's really so much more about, you and what works for your life and your family. I mean, if you've got kids and they're about to switch schools and you're thinking this is an ideal time, then let's not wait for the market to be right, because there's no guarantee on what the market's going to do anyway. No. And we want to make sure that it's right in your world, your specific, unique, individual, special world, and not just in the big picture.
That's a great point, Yenna.
Yeah. Once in a while, he gives me a vote of confidence. It's good.
No, I like it. It's very, very good.
So if you have questions, if you even just want to explore what's good, what's bad, what are the options, what are not the options, you can connect with us.
Yeah, we'd be happy to talk with you.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we're good at talking.
Some days better than others because I trip over my tongue, you've noticed, and that's okay too. So thanks for joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate. And today it was about shift happens. If you want to understand what shift is happening in your community, reach out to us and we'll get you the information so you can be informed and functioning well within this current real estate shift.
Make it a great day.